still celebrating our guy Derrick Rose. We got the fans, they are out, and all of the stands are up just to celebrate him. It was such a fun weekend, you guys. It's going to remain up through tomorrow afternoon if you want to come down and check it out. But the whole week of events, just celebrating his whole success. We talked about it here. Cam, what was your biggest takeaway and maybe your favorite moment?
You know what? It was the love. That was my biggest takeaway, that Derrick not only gave to the city of Chicago, but what the city of Chicago returned back to him as well. So that was the beauty of this week. But just personally for me, being at Simeon Career Academy on Friday night with a homegrown basketball game that Derrick played in, back at his alma mater with his close friends, with some guys that he grew up with, some of the next generation of basketball players, but ultimately playing with his oldest son, PJ, and really essentially passing the torch. And there was a moment pregame where Derrick came over, he embraced me, and also looked at my son and dapped him up. And so I'm looking at my son's eyes and him saying, wow, Dad, that's Derrick Rose. And so it's those moments where you see the next generation looking at Derrick Rose as they should view him, as a Chicago icon, as someone that provided the blueprint of what it means to be successful. So this past week and this weekend, right here in this very building at the United Center, but also at Simeon Career Academy, it was very special. So another chef's kiss.
It's a great story, Cam. We were both here on Saturday night, and I was just struck by, during the press conference before the game, the speech at halftime. Every time that you saw Derrick Rose compose himself and walk around speaking to the microphones, he's at peace. And I think that all of us who covered Derrick Rose, lived through that experience, which the highs were high and the lows were really low. There was a trajectory, there was triumph, and there was tragedy from a sports perspective. And Derrick Rose, through it all, came out the other end, and he came out better for it. And I think that's what you heard when he talked, and his mom was there, ever present. His family was there. Everybody felt like they were part of the Rose family on Saturday night. And I just give him credit for having the peace of mind that was so obvious and evident in hearing him talk all these years later with the composure and the confidence that he showed on Saturday night. You just saw a man who has arrived and takes his role as father seriously, and certainly is part of a family that he's never going to let down.
And I love his humility, right? And that goes to what you were saying, just him coming up to you and Caden, giving the fist bump at Simeon, and just, how at peace he was. He talked about his family, and I loved how he was like, I want to be great for my family. That's what I preach in that household, and he appreciates Chicago just pushing him to be the best that he can be, and just really wrapping their arms around him. And with that, it's hard to believe that we can top this week of the celebrating that we've done for him, but they announced that they're going to retire his number next year. Do you think they can make it better than what we've seen this week, Cam?
You know what? I wouldn't put it past the Chicago Bulls and just the city of Chicago of making it better. Obviously, we had this conversation before when it comes to, would you want to have your jersey retired or have a statue? I'm a big fan. I believe that we're all big fans of having that jersey retired, especially understanding the number of jerseys retired in Bulls history. You have Bob Love, you have Jerry Sloan, Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, as my man Jason Goff is back here with the people in the atrium, suited and booted as always. And I think that he would agree that with this opportunity next season, with Derrick's jersey being retired, it provides another opportunity to have this moment in the city of Chicago a special moment.
They'll find a way, because creatively, what Derrick Rose directed for the video that everyone saw, the way that they handled every aspect, every detail, they'll find a way to make it special. Again, I'm looking forward to it already, I think, because it wasn't a moment. You wanted to be part of that on Saturday night. So whether it's, in January, whenever they decide to raise his jersey to the rafters, I think it will be a memorable occasion.
And honestly, I want that feeling again. Saturday night, I was on the court recording myself and taking in that moment. And when that MVP chant started around the United Center, all goosebumps on my arm, but it felt like I was on a different planet, just how loud and ovacious that MVP chant was. So running it back again next year when the jersey's retired, probably as it's lifted to the rafters with the MVP chant. I'm getting goosebumps right now. Like, I want it to happen right now. I wish I could.
They got to start planning now if they're going to try to top it this year. But